at the end of the day, we have to stick together, regardless of what's going on in the world, because it's us.
The 90s were filled with boy bands and girl bands. They all seemed to follow a few basic guidelines: write some party or love songs, get famous, and then the more popular member would embark on his or her solo journey. In between all of these popular bands, there was one girl group who wasn't there to recycle the same formula. They came and totally changed the game, and that band was called TLC. The group consisted of Tionne, T-Boz, Watkins, Rosanda Chili Thomas, and Lisa Left Eye Lopes. They became the best-selling girl group of America, paving the way for many prominent artists who are considered iconic today, while TLC, who was the pioneer, is nowhere to be seen. Hello everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel. Have you ever wondered why TLC is the most popular girl band ever? Fret not today, we'll discuss what happened to TLC. Before we get started, don't forget to like, comment and share. Also, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss any updates. Formation of the band. TLC had three beautiful black women with a powerful voice. They weren't there to look pretty and sing titillating lyrics. Everything about them screamed realness and awareness. They wore baggy clothes instead of skimpy outfits, making sure their songs get the attention for the right reasons, as they didn't want to be put in a box. The group initially consisted of T-Boz, Left Eye, and a third member named Crystal. At that time, it was called Second Nature. The name TLC was given to them by Perry Reid, who later became their manager. When they met record producer Antonio Reid, who was Perry's husband at the time, he saw the potential but suggested them to replace Crystal with someone else. They then found Chili, who was Dame's backup dancer. She had the same electrifying energy that the other two girls had, and hence the hunt to find the third member was concluded. To maintain the same title, Thomas came up with the name Chili, which suited her persona. Booming success. Soon after the discovery of Chili, they were signed by LaFace Records. In 1992, they released their debut album, Oh, on the TLC tip, and it went on to become a huge success. Their boldness to discuss taboo topics became one of the biggest factors for their album sales going up. It was a risky move for a new band that was also a girl band, but TLC was nothing if it wasn't risky. They discussed topics like rape culture, women empowerment, and safe sex so openly in 1992. Their lyrics weren't inconsiderate or crass, they were socially aware. Songs like Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Baby Baby Baby, and What About Your Friends climbed into the top 10 list of top 100. They weren't afraid to be called weird. They came on an event in baggy clothes with condoms glued to them. Lisa even wore one on her left eye. It wasn't just a shallow publicity stunt, they were promoting safe sex during the AIDS epidemic. To this day, no other girl group has dared to do something so daunting that two at the very beginning of their career. Chili's silky voice, T-Boz's sexy husky tone, and Left Eye's unabashedly bold rapping became a lethal combination. They became a force to be reckoned with right from their first album, Left Eye controversy's favorite child. As the popularity of the band grew, so did the media scrutiny. TLC was being loved as a courageous group. Many teens were identifying them as the true role models, but then Left Eye did something which gave her the title of troubled child. Soon after the rocking success of their first album, Left Eye started dating NFL player Andre Risson. They were madly in love, and every magazine was filled with the tales of their fairy tale romance. Then came the year 1994, and everyone saw the ugly reality of this relationship. Left Eye burned down Risson's $2 million mansion when both of them got into a heated argument. Risson got physically abusive with her and she wanted to take revenge, so she started the fire by setting his expensive sneakers on flames. The fire then got out of hand and quickly spread around the whole property, taking the whole house down. She was later arrested on the charges of first-degree arson. She got fined $10,000, spent 5 days in jail, and was then sent to a diversion center for 3 months. Lisa was also battling alcoholism at the time, which was the result of the bad parenting of his father. He encouraged her to start heavily drinking at the age of 15. Substance abuse was also one of her demons she was trying to control, but with the media following their every move, all of this became public knowledge. Because of all of this, she became the group's poster wild child. Shady record deal and bankruptcy. While Left Eye was becoming notorious due to her antics as a byproduct, it was also giving their group a lot of publicity. They struck when the iron was hot and released their second album, Crazy Sexy Cool. Lisa's notoriety was one of the driving forces in making the album top the charts, although her creative contribution in making the album was quite limited due to her stint in the rehabilitation center. The album sold more than 23 million copies worldwide and made TLC the biggest all-girl band in the USA. Everyone speculated that the girls must be rolling in cash since their songs were breaking records and their album sales were off the chart. In reality, their guess couldn't have been more wrong. This came as shocking news to everyone when, after winning Grammy, during media interaction, Chili confessed they were broke. "We have been in this business for 5 years and we are broke as broke can be." This was a big statement because for the first time, artists were publicly talking about how record companies were exploiting them. It all began when they signed the 360 deal with their company, which meant the management will take all the revenue, but all the expenses of the girls will be paid by the company. They were trying to get their foot in the door then and sign the deal, but then Thomas got huge medical bills and Lopes had to pay property damages in the arson case, and they didn't have any money. Their albums were generating millions, but they were only getting $50,000 while their record company made more than $100 million. They fought a long and hard legal battle. Eventually, after 2 years, they were able to renegotiate their terms and they officially fired their manager Perry Reed. Conflicts within the band. When it was time for girls to release their third album, Fan Mail, they started having a lot of conflict about the creative freedom everyone had. Lisa was butting heads with everyone and it was her word against Dallas and her bandmates. She submitted 8 songs for the album and all of them were rejected. That's where the whole trouble began. Eventually, the whole album was put together after a lot of drama, but then Lisa gave an interview about how she doesn't fully stand behind the album. This statement caused some major rifts between them and everyone was betting on them breaking up soon. After some time, all of them came together and quashed the rumors, which made their fans take a breath of relief. But that happiness didn't last too long because Lisa was eventually thinking about going solo and this didn't sit well with T-Boz and Chili. They took a dig at her when she started ditching them completely by not showing up for public appearances. Later, Lisa responded by challenging them. "I challenged Tionne, Watkins, T-Boz and Rosanda Thomas Chili to an album entitled The Challenge, a 3-CD set that contains 3 solo albums. Each album will be due to the record label by October 1, 2000. I also challenged Dallas, the manipulator, Austin, to produce all of the material and do it at a fraction of his normal rate. As I think about it, I'm sure LaFace would not mind throwing in a $1.5 million prize for the winner. Chili and T-Boz never took on her challenge and always maintained that TLC will never be like other bands." A big tragedy. In 2002, the most unexpected thing happened, which affected everyone around the world, but most of all the TLC group. Lisa Lopes passed away in a deadly car crash in Honduras. She was there for a spiritual retreat, and it was that time when she had started reconciling with her bandmates. For some years, there was a cold war going on between them. Although they never publicly broke up, they also weren't working together. All of this was about to change when Lisa had started hanging out with her group again, and they were even working on their 4th studio album. Lisa had recorded 4 songs for that album, and the rest of her vocals they used were from the stuff she left behind. She was recording her last days on camera and was addressing everything openly for the first time. She had been in an accident a week prior to that also claimed the life of a 10-year-old boy. Freakily enough, he shared the same last name as hers. Thousands of people attended her funeral, and after her passing away, TLC didn't release anything for a long time except for their 4th album. They went on a world tour to give her legacy a tribute. They even managed to include her by adding her old videos into the concert. Chili and T-Boz said they didn't even look at the screens as they wouldn't have been able to control themselves. Many times during completing the 4th album, they would just run out of the studio when her vocals used to play. When interviewers asked them if they'll ever replace Lisa without waiting for a second, they would reply no. In 2012, after a decade of Lisa's untimely death, they concluded the chapter of TLC in their lives by releasing a final album. Their impact on pop culture will be written in history. They influenced every girl band which came after them. The biggest of them all was Destiny's Child and Pussycat Dolls. Now they want to do something different and often hinted at a biographical movie about their journey. We have already seen it on a small screen. Let's see if it'll ever be made for the big screen. We're sure it will also break records like their albums did. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button to get the notifications. Also, don't forget to watch other videos on this channel that explores more topics like this.